From what I see, the title is outrageous. I'm gonna go hit one of these right here because people out here like with a dog. The title and thumbnail, yeah, it's real. It is unfortunately real. Florida mom had intercourse with a dog on video. I ain't gotta do too much talking, man. Let's get into this right now. Don't forget to hit that like button right now because this is crazy, bro. This video got to rank outrageous. Just, man.
And I just woke up and I have no idea what's going on.
We'll talk to, I'm just reading you the search warrant. Do you understand?
A young mother in Florida on body camera, and she'll later admit to engaging in sex acts with the family dog and more. I have the disturbing case out of Florida and what else White told police.
Oh my God, y'all.
Welcome to Crime Fix.
Hey, look at me. Did you follow me on Instagram yet?
Nope.
If you did not, then you need to follow me on Instagram. Come on over to Instagram. Why haven't you followed me on Instagram yet? It's on the screen right now. It's pinned below in the comments and it's in the description. So it's no way you can miss it. Come on over, man.
I'm Anjanette Levy, and just a reminder, we are now available on Spotify. You can watch us and listen to us there, so please check us out and follow us on Spotify. Samantha Lee White is a petite blonde from North Fort Myers, Florida, and she has a young child, which makes it really sad that she's on her way to prison, and she's going there for sex crimes against animals, specifically a dog. This case started in February 2024 when police and deputies went to her home with a search warrant. They were looking for electronic devices.
Yeah.
She must have been uploading
the child and then come down and then you can.
So get the child first and then read it. I'll follow her in there. When I come get the baby, I'll follow you in there.
That's outrageous. There's many guys out here, you want a dog. There's millions of men out here that'll do whatever. I'm talking whatever, and you want a dog. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Ruger, shut up. Wait 1 second. You're walking too fast for me.
That's right. I just didn't see.
I'm not here.
So the officer follows Samantha White up to the second floor of the house, and there are already other officers there with the little boy.
You got Twinkle Star in your mocap? Yeah. Can we put it back in your crib? He's just been hanging out. Just.
I want to grab a blanket since
Hey.
I'll be outside.
Hey, buddy.
What's
this time of year?
For me, I have shoes. Yes, they're going to
The
be out by the
dumpster?
door.
Okay. All right.
Buddy, some people came to protect us today. Yeah. Yeah, that is your baby. Can you go in here real quickly? I don't know if that's going to mess with anything. I just don't want him to run out the door.
No, yeah, I hear you.
He's a little one that he won't let me see but catch him. Is she up here?
Yeah.
Mama, yeah, Mama got shoe on, baby. Yeah, all the cars came to protect us.
Oh.
Say hi, everybody.
Dang, it's a lot of cops too.
Yeah, they're all your mama's cars.
Watching this is really, really sad, knowing what we know now and seeing this child in the video because his mom is going to be arrested and is now on her way to prison.
Wow.
The officer then reads the search warrant to Samantha White.
I'm gonna. Let's be
Look at
there.
all
Going back to like.
Yeah, right here where it's warm a little. Alright, so I'm gonna read you this. We have a search warrant for the residence, okay? It's going to be under agency case number with Lee County 24-06919.
The charges in Samantha White's case are concerning to say the very least. I looked her up on truthfinder.com to see what might come up. Truthfinder is one of the largest public records search services out there. White's name and address come back. It's the same house detectives searched in February of 2024. And all of the charges that she faced show up too. Truthfinder is really great because it will show you a person's past and current addresses, phone numbers, social media accounts, and of course, criminal and traffic records. If you want to try Truthfinder, you can get 50% off of confidential background reports. Just log on to www.truthfinder.com/LCCrimeFix. Log on and start accessing information about almost anyone. Samantha White is standing there holding her son as the officer reads the description of the house in the warrant, but then the officer tells her why they are actually there and what they think they will find.
This is what we're searching the house for. The law prohibits sexual performance by a child controlled by Florida State Statute 827.071, subsection 5 of the Florida State Statute. The firm has probable cause to believe and does believe that the property connected with the above listed crime is currently being contained, stored, or concealed within the following location. Direction to locate, and this is just the address of how we got here. We're from the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Came from 147506 Mile Cypress, Fort Myers, Florida, headed towards Independence Circle. Basically, this is just the address of how we arrived here. And the following items is what we're going to be looking for: images or videos of child endangered in sexual conduct defined in Florida State Statute 827.071.
I don't understand.
Hold on,
I can't have you read this right now. Like,
Okay.
I didn't even take it this morning. And I just woke up and I have no idea what's going on. Oh.
We'll talk to. I'm just reading you the search warrant. Do you understand? Do you want to?
I think I get an understanding.
Do you want me to keep reading, or do you want to look at it yourself?
I'll look at it myself.
Okay, just. Well, we're gonna be looking for electronics, basically. That can. Are you okay? I know this is pretty hard. I'm sorry, I made your Monica baby.
And that's what I just don't want, because I can't give him to his dad, and I can't give him to anybody that I don't trust, and I just need to admit it.
The judge was well, I'll just read the final. You can look at it in a minute. The warrant was presented to the judge on the 14th, which was yesterday, who approved it.
So this is an investigation about child materials. This is very, very serious.
All right, questions?
Yeah. I thought this was about
so
a dog.
basically, we're gonna search.
Yes.
As soon as the house we're done, we'll turn it back over. We're gonna talk to you about this.
Okay.
Okay. You have any questions for us?
At some point, I need a water and to use the restroom.
Okay.
Other than that.
Yeah, we can do that. All right.
And then at some point, I would also like to go in the little garden area just so I can set him down and he can play.
Okay. Perfect. So let me just coordinate with them, and I'll be right back.
And when can I see my husband?
In a minute.
Okay.
We'll talk to you guys.
Okay.
And just for the record, this warrant was served at 7:47 a.m. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back.
I'll get to Samantha White's husband, John White, in a bit, but first, I'll tell you what police say Samantha White told them. The detective said that White told them that she was fascinated by a male horse's anatomy and would look up videos and photos of it online. White also told the detectives that she looked up videos of horses engaged in sex with other horses and with a woman. Police said this led to other revelations from White that she would only discuss with a female detective. Samantha White then admitted to having sex with her family dog.
What?
She decided to try it since the horse's anatomy interested her so much, but she told the detective the interaction with the dog wasn't her thing. Now back to the body camera video.
She started crying, so she didn't want me to finish it. I'm like, we're looking for electronics.
You told her she's going to have the copy of it.
Yeah, I said this is going to be a copy, and I told her that the judge who authored the search when I showed her the day and time.
Okay. The only other thing we're going to try is we want to have her come in and get the dog. There's one little section we couldn't clear.
Okay.
So if we can have her either leave little guy or...
She said she does.
She can keep it with her. That's fine.
I had her come
We just
in.
want to put put them on a leash or let's just find. I'll go with you. Let's just see if we can find a spot once we reset.
Dead
That's poop everywhere.
too late. I don't know how many times I had stepped on everything.
Ma'am, is there anywhere we can put the dogs besides that space while we're here, or like are they allowed outside?
I can let them out over here, and then they'll be trapped in there, and nobody
Will
else
that be
will
okay
have
with you?
access. Yes.
It'll just help us
I just
speed
prefer
things up.
me.
No, we
to do
would
it.
prefer
I
you to
just
do it
don't
as
know
well.
how they would react to
Okay.
anybody else.
Are you
yes.
able to help do that right now? Okay.
I sure am. When we go in, is there a way I can just get a sip of water before we do
absolutely.
that?
For sure. Yeah, we can do all that. No worries.
I need to use the restroom.
Yeah.
But I'm not using that.
So the detectives go into the house to get the family's dogs.
Do you mind if she holds the baby really quick while we do that?
I do.
Okay, that's fine.
No, that's okay.
This will just need to be moved, and we'll have to close this behind us. Otherwise, the dogs will run right out this way.
Perfect. Okay. If you guys want to grab your breach, we're gonna close this.
Yeah, Mama knows a little
Feel you want to?
I don't know.
I don't think we need it.
It's yours.
I'm getting a glass of water before we do this.
I ain't gonna lie. They letting her do a lot. I could have sworn they'll let you do nothing. They got a search warrant. You don't get no water. Get out here. Once everything done, we don't want you messing with nothing. But they got a courtesy for her.
Yeah?
For the charges, they got courtesy for her.
It's okay, baby.
We're just gonna let them out in the front yard, or
Yeah, so they're gonna end up going right around this way, and they'll go right in the front yard.
okay.
They are very friendly.
Yeah, I'm not
they just
Yeah, we're not worried. We deal with dogs all the time.
okay. One's gonna come right away, and then
That
two more
gate's
will be
closed,
coming.
right?
Yeah, I think they just closed it.
They're gonna come this way, John?
They're gonna come right.
Hey, Chloe! Hey, Chloe! Hey.
Hey!
Outside. Outside.
Go outside! Outside!
No, you guys know not that way. Not that way. Stella, Luna, Ruger.
The 3 dogs are removed from the house, and now the detectives have to make sure that Samantha White is out of the house.
Right to Jim.
Grabbing his bicycle, so I should say.
Yeah, that's fine. You need to use the restroom really quick, right?
Yeah, but
It's gonna be. Is it gonna?
I will be fine for at least another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Can we stay in here or is that a no-go?
She wants to know if they can stay over there. Yeah, I can stay over there.
That's fine. You don't want to put that in? Or you want to look at carpet? Okay.
We're good.
You got all those, and then that one comes running. You know, and he's like, "Hey,
I did. I cleared it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a friendly interaction. Boy, I don't know about y'all, but like I said, for the charges, this is very, very friendly. I'm not saying they got to be an a-hole or nothing like that, but, you know.
I mean, I got another person outside.
That day, Samantha White was arrested and charged with having contact with animals. She was released the very next day after posting bail. Samantha's husband, John White, was interviewed by detectives. The police report says John denied knowledge of how his cell phone could have ended up inside the toilet bowl where it was located by detectives after John took an extended amount of time to exit the residence during the search warrant service and announcements of law enforcement.
That's why she wanted to use the restroom. She funny.
John advised there were pictures of himself, his wife Samantha, and Samantha having sex with a canine on his cell phone. The canine involved in the sexual acts with Samantha is their chocolate male Labrador retriever. John believes there are 1 or 2 files depicting Samantha engaging in sex with their canine sometime in the end of last year, 2023, or the beginning of this year, 2024.
Right.
John stated that day of the incident, Samantha and he were drinking and the canine was being annoying. John does not recall who mentioned engaging in acts with the canine, but believes it would have been Samantha. And Samantha had apparently told the police that she would sometimes think about this stuff when she was drinking. The report says that John White admitted to recording Samantha engaging in the with the dog. John White was also arrested and charged with filming and possessing images or videos of animal activity in February of 2024. Then last July, he was booked into the jail again after being charged with several counts of possession of child pornography.
What?
At the same time, Samantha White was also charged with possessing and transmitting child pornography. Then earlier this month, Samantha White pleaded guilty to 3 counts of activity involving animals. Those child pornography charges were actually dropped. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 3 years probation after her release. I want to bring in Dr. Daniel Bober. He's a forensic psychiatrist to talk a little bit about this case. Dr. Bober, I've talked to you a little bit about bestiality before. I mean, it's a really
that's what it's called, bestiality.
Touchy, kind of gross subject. But we have a woman here who's been sentenced to 3 years in prison. And when the police went to her door, she apparently readily admitted that she had a fascination with, certain parts of animals' anatomy. She discussed horses, she discussed dogs. And the investigation kind of unfolded from there. They went there with a search warrant because they had some information about her possibly having some child material, things like that. So where does this come from? Where do people develop these fascinations?
So just some clarification on some of these terms. So zoophilia is classified as a paraphilia, which is an atypical or deviant sexual interest. So the zoophilia is the sexual urges or sexual fantasies about animals. Now, that in and of itself, believe it or not, is not a mental illness until there is some level of distress or impairment or some negative consequence. Bestiality is the illegal part. It's the behavior. It's having sexual relations with animals. And so that's the part that is illegal in a lot of different jurisdictions. A lot of these types of behaviors are more studied often in men than in women. But we know that people who have paraphilias very often will have a history of childhood abuse, where they have distorted sexual development and problems with normal boundaries. Very often they suffer from emotional neglect. In terms of mental health disorders, we can see sometimes they can suffer from psychosis, personality disorders, antisocial behavior, borderline personality disorder, problems with attachment, problems with boundaries, obviously a no regard for the rights of the animals or the way it's affecting the animals. And sometimes they have problems with impulse control or ADHD. A lot of us have fantasies, but that doesn't mean we have to act on them. So those people have trouble controlling their impulses. They have an inability to exercise restraint, and they will often act on these deviant fantasies. And of course, there are people who use substances, and so the substances will lower their inhibitions, and they will act out these fantasies. They rationalize their behavior. They, basically say, "Oh, this is no big deal. The animal is not being affected by it." They minimize the harm, which of course we know there's tremendous harm. And then a lot of people who have social isolation and have trouble attaching to other human beings will sometimes do this. So there are a variety of factors that are at play that can make this occur.
So the zoophilia is when you're just thinking about it and fixating on it. It moves into a crime and becomes bestiality when you actually act on it.
Correct.
Well, they say she acted on it. I guess she was sentenced for having relations with 4 dogs. And this was discovered, I guess. There were videos of this, some other things. There was some mention about her husband, who also has been charged in this case, but his case is pending. He has not been sentenced yet. the phone being found in the toilet tank, things like that. So, I mean, she's going to prison for 3 years for this down in Florida. 3 years sounds like a really long time, and she's going to be on the animal abuser registry. So she, obviously this had to have been pretty significant for them to sentence her to 3 years in prison. Plus she'll be on probation when she gets out.
Yeah, I mean, harming an animal, a completely defenseless creature. I mean, I think we've talked about this before. I mean, I have two myself. I think you have dogs too.
Yes.
So for someone like me, I find it particularly offensive. These animals, they're so special. Right. They're really like our kids. Right. And for someone to come after them, it's really a very similar type reaction. So right. I can see where someone would sort of hit them hard with a sentence to send a message that this is not acceptable behavior, especially when you're preying upon creatures that are totally defenseless, totally innocent, and obviously can't speak and defend themselves. So it's a pretty horrific crime.
When somebody goes to prison and they're sentenced for something like this, I mean, 3 years in prison, plus she's already, I guess, been in jail for a time too. I kind of think to myself, well, she's going to be in prison for a time. There are programs in prison. There's programming that you can take part in. I guess she has a choice. Do you go to prison and you do your time and then you just get out? Or do you make some use of your time in there and then you get out and you're on this animal abuser registry and you're on probation? I mean, how do you treat something like this? Like, how do you get better? So when you get out, you don't kind of go back to the same behavior and do this again.
So as I touched on before, there's a complex psychological picture of someone who engage in this type of behavior. So someone like this that I look at, I would say, they would need what we call cognitive behavioral therapy or trauma-informed care. We need to look at the factors that led to this type of behavior. I would want to look at that relationship that she was in with her husband prior to this occurring. How much did he play into this? Was he someone that encouraged it? Was he more passive? Was he complicit? I would want to know a lot more about her background to think about what would be the best way to treat her.
Mm-hmm. What's really concerning about this too, when the police went to the home to execute this search warrant, there was a child in the home. I mean, she's holding a child while the police are there. So we don't know exactly everything that happened in that house, and you never know what happens behind closed doors at somebody's house. But there was a child in the home when this activity was going on. Again, we don't know where the child was located when it was happening. But that's a pretty grave concern too, that this type of behavior, with a dog, activity with a dog involving both parents, apparently, allegedly, is happening with a small child in the home.
Right. And at the very least, the child was present under the same roof when this was going on. And at the very worst, the child was involved. And I actually think back to the beginning of my career. I was actually involved in a child custody case that had this type of, believe it or not, this type of activity in it. And this could be crazy. Terribly, terribly traumatizing and deeply compromising for a child and for their development. And it's obviously its own form of trauma, abuse, and neglect. So the fact that the child is there is, all the more concerning.
Let's hope that the child wasn't anywhere near this. When they first charged this out, she, in July of last year, she had been charged with an additional 3 counts of possession of obscene material, including depictions of child pornography. So it said depictions of it. It didn't go any further in describing it in the counts. But then she ended up pleading guilty to the counts involving the dog, both felony and misdemeanor counts. So they must have dropped those other child depiction charges. I'm thinking maybe she was searching around on the internet for those types of things, but possibly. That's concerning though, too, because if there was child related stuff involved here, I mean, even looking at that stuff, that's very concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said before that that seemed like a pretty stiff sentence. Well, I guess it really depends. For some people, it's a very stiff sentence, and for some people, it's not enough time. But there's indications that some of these tendencies may have gone into kids as well. And so this is a very, very mentally ill woman who needs a lot of help, and who certainly is a danger to society, pets and people alike, and really is going to need some significant treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 3 years. I mean, I don't know if it's stiff enough, obviously. I mean, they agreed to
She gotta
this
do the whole
sentence.
3 years?
So,
Gotta do a year and a half.
I'm just
Plea bargain,
hoping she gets out and doesn't do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Daniel Bober, as always, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy, man. Like 3 years, like, I don't know. Like, she got dropped with the charges from the child situation, but it's still weird that, like, the husband, like, it just seemed like they started going against each other when they got arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he charged for it, but she knew about it? But I don't know. Like I said, I feel like they was being too lenient on him in general. I just never heard of somebody getting 3 years for having those type of charges. And they didn't really explain what was going on in the child. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't really want to say the word, but y'all get what I'm saying. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about that, man. Like, it's just, to me, it's a little weird. Like, I told you, I feel like they was just a little too nice to them off the rip with the charges. And the lady was finna let her go use the restroom. She probably would let her close the door. She probably would have shoved it up in her and everything. Like, it's crazy out here, man. It's crazy, y'all.